This episode of the Red Bull Rant is brought to you by the fine people that support us through patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. Head on over there to support us and get exclusive content when we fucking feel like it. We want to send a special thanks to Chris Adamick, the Maeve Dartinez, Pierre, Eddie Delecto, and Jeremiah Dempster. As always, thanks, guys.
This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening? Welcome, my friends, to the Should It Never Ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman. It's episode 446, a happy little playoff win.
Is that supposed to be Bob Ross reference?
That's right.
Okay.
Bob Ross painted a happy little goal, surrounded by a few happy little fans.
And Elias Manuel decided he's going to paint 3 happy little goals.
Yeah, no kid.
Then apparently Tom Barlow decided he wanted to paint one too.
That's how you know the night's going absolutely 100% your way, is when Tom Barlow scores a goal.
And a pretty easy one at that too.
Yes, very easy. You can't mess this up kind of goal.
Because unfortunately we do that a lot where we mess those up.
Yeah.
All right, so Red Bulls advance into the official first round of the MLS Cup playoffs with a 5-2 home victory over Charlotte FC in the wildcard game. Man, I bet. What do you want to bet that the Sporting Kansas City crowd would love to have like 2 of those goals in their game?
Any of the action that the game that we watched had.
Yeah. Before we get into it with our thoughts, we'll start with tweets. Truman, you got those ready to go?
Yep. So Metro Chuck Chuck said, "What is this I'm feeling? It's the opposite of anger and disappointment." Our friend Steven Santos said, "We won and scored 5 goals and a hat trick. Who knew? Best game of the year, and of course it's a playoff game. LOL. Charlotte looked clueless. I'll take it." And then our good friend Anthony said, "Seems like they finally put it all together. Let's keep it going." I think everyone was too celebrating and happy to tweet. Usually the tweets come from rage.
I mean, this is our, I think, first official playoff win since 2019 or 2018.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a while.
4 wins in a row with this team.
Yeah. Who would have thought that? And who thought it would have started against? Was it against the Shield winners? Yeah, it was. It started against the team that won the Shield on the night that they were celebrating. And then we beat Nashville on the road. But we beat Cincy on the night that they were celebrating their Shield victory. And that's what literally saved the playoffs. And it's just, here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Someone we have to acknowledge is Eddie, because not only did you see him submit a call out for work so he could be at the game, he followed our advice and left us a voicemail. So here's what he had to say.
Well, I'm fucking insane, so I'm calling from the game that just ended right now. No one imagined, and surely not me, that Elias Manuel will get a fucking hat trick in the MLS Cup playoffs by outing. What an atmosphere. What an atmosphere. It's so nice to see. It was all vibes. It was all vibes. I had 0 complaints whatsoever. There were lulls, but you can't even complain about those lulls. Because in the end, there was steal soccer from the World of Flames. It's wild. And I know it's Charlotte. You shouldn't expect much. But we didn't expect this in the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and sure as shit not before these last 5 games. I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. This is a start. I know we were talking about how do you call this a success this season or not, but I genuinely think going to Cincy and at least look competitive, 1-1. If you end 2-1, that's fine. That is salvaging a successful season from what it could have been. And I was the first one of the first people to be like, I'm done with this team. Well, I'm done with it. But here it is. This is exciting. Join the sound. Let's try to hear it come out of 30 years from today.
So, if you're wondering why stuff got cut off at the end, I think ESC started to drown out Eddie to a degree there. But man, I think we kind of just mentioned what a difference a few weeks makes, and Eddie I think was right along there, right? Because earlier in the season he was not happy compared to this game. So imagine that winning games makes people feel good.
That's weird. We're not used to it.
I know. All right, so let's get into it, our thoughts. Truman, you go first, and we'll start with our dislikes. What did you dislike about this game?
I don't know. There's not much to dislike. The 2 goals that were given up, I think even Eddie touched on the voicemail, were how are you going to stop that bicycle kick? That was a great goal. Maybe the second goal will be a little bit more upset because the defense kind of let him kind of get right past them. I think the only thing they could dislike is Pat not being able to make this game. And he actually could have seen an actual win in a playoff game, which is not what we see at home. We usually see a terrible game or a terrible loss on the road. So that's my dislike, that Pat could not be there for this
one. My dislike will be that we didn't get 6 goals because Laquita should have had that goal.
Yes, he should have. Yeah, that's true.
I know I'm asking for a lot for it. I'm being very selfish with the 6th goal, but you know what? That should have been a goal. But the fact, it's amazing how we forgot that scoring goals leads to more goals because teams have to open up then. They can't just sit and bunker against you.
You are correct. You score first, right? It changes the entire dynamic of a game. And especially a playoff game where then there's no tomorrow at that point. There's no, hey, maybe we can hang on and get them next week or play for a draw and move on. You have to open the game up.
Yeah. I don't know which audio feed you were listening to. Were you listening to the MLS feed or the RBNY feed?
I can't listen to the Red Bull one just because I don't like the audio. It's not the commentary.
It's the background noise.
It's the fact that you can it's like you're being in the studio with them and barely hearing the crowd. I like getting that quality mix of the commentary and the crowd, which you just don't get on that radio.
Yeah, you don't get as much as the atmosphere. The only reason I listen to the RBNY feed is because the British guy was kind of annoying, at least to me.
He was fine. Whatever. It's whatever. I can deal with it.
But Steve Jolly, the color guy, it's just he's after he scored a goal, he's like, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you got to score. You got to keep pouring it on. You don't give him a chance. You never let him think they're going to be in this game.
Yeah. And
they seem to be listening. They just kept playing for whatever reason, and I don't know why. This is one of the few games this year where they decided, you know what, we're going to play the high pressure offense the whole game, and they, actually play their way, and then look what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm hoping this will continue. I guess that's just going to be my like. It's just the fact that we were playing our style. We were not letting the other team do anything to dictate how the game was played, and. That's I think I know what your like's going to be, but I wanted to it's just this is the team we need to have seen all year round.
Mm-hmm.
If we're only going to get it now, you know what? I'll take it. If this means a deep playoff run, I'll take it.
I don't think you know what my like's going to be because there's a lot to like, and a lot of things will break down in a little bit. But I'm going to give you this with the Red Bulls with the 1-goal lead, and then I think it was still 1-0 or 2-0. I think it was still 1-0. Carlos Coronel made 2 excellent saves. He made that fingertip save, and then literally that point blank shot right above him where he was kind of already down and almost made like a hockey goalie kick save. Those were massive because,
I was thinking the kick save. Okay, I think the kick save was when it was 2-0.
So right, well, like I said, it was either 1-0 or 2-0 with those two. But I mean, they're complete game changers, right? Because then it could have been 1-1 or 2-1, and then again you're looking at a different game. 2 massive plays with him, and then they end up getting the 3rd goal before the first half. And I mean, that just sets up an entirely big second half to get that 3-0 lead. Huge, almost insurmountable. Charlotte sniffed their way back in once or twice, but really,
we just shut down both times.
Every time they scored, we scored right after them. So goalkeeper making a massive difference in this game early on, and then that's what counts. I mean, in the end, he just came up absolutely huge in those 2 spots.
Okay, so you did not mention what I thought you were going to mention, honestly.
Well, there's tons. The hat trick, which was awesome. 3 excellent goals. Tolkien's free kick, which was fantastic. I think that's what really, I mean, that was a huge game changer. Was that you get 1-0's great early on,
but 1-0 off of that,
right? Yeah.
I'm sorry. 2-0 off that
and then it's 2-0 off the free kick. Yeah. And that just really, the crowd's already pumped up, but that really electrifies the crowd and the team. I mean, you could just see that was the moment you were like, I don't think they're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
Because they were so energized after that. Again,
and then,
big moment after big moment in this game.
Manuel just being left alone in the box for the second goal. It's like
right for his second.
Like 4 guys and none of them within 5 yards of him, and he's like, okay, I'll take the shot.
Yeah. But again, and I know people want to poo-poo it. It's 2 teams that were playing the wild card game. You know, teams who had to kind of win in the last game of the year to get in. So Charlotte's not a great defensive team, but I don't care. I mean, that's what you do when you're at home, right? These are the games you win big, and just keep that momentum going.
I mean, it's what we said going into the Nashville game, right? You play the scheduling put in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
We faced Toronto the next to last week of the season, but you know what? That's just how the schedule set up. Toronto didn't have a good year. They took the 3 points when you could, and same situation here.
Yeah. I had to chuckle at the Charlotte fans online who were, they were tired because they just, they had already played earlier. Yes, Red Bulls played at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Same exact kickoff time of 6:00 or 6:05 or whatever the hell it was on Saturday. So that's not even an excuse. It's just not. And you didn't travel across the country. You traveled by plane an hour. I would assume.
And they were at home against Miami on the last week.
Correct.
So both teams had to travel, right? The Red Bulls traveled from a game on the road to a game at home, and then Charlotte was the opposite. So if anything, the Red Bulls had actually worse travel because they had to come from Nashville.
Yeah, it's just a silly excuse for losing a game.
Well, I mean, it is their first time in the playoffs, so let's give them a little bit of slack.
Nah.
But
beat their brains in and move on. They got cocky fans too, so they deserve that beating.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Their fans are cocky for no reason at all. Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that our forwards scored 4 goals?
Unbelievable.
I mean, did either of them hit?
One of them scored 3.
Has any forward hit 4 goals? Honestly.
I don't think so. I do not believe so.
Let's see if I can find.
You going to the stat page? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up Wikipedia.
I'm gonna guess that Tom Barlow definitely did not have 4 goals this year. I think he had 2, maybe 3.
Okay, so if you count all competitions, technically Van Zier had 5, but only 2 in MLS play. So if you go purely by MLS play, the leading goal scorer was Frankie Amaya with 4. Yikes. Purely MLS play. If you go combined, it's Dante Van Zier and Omir Fernandez at 5. So going into last night, Barlow scored 2 goals. Manuel scored 2 goals. So them combined during the regular season matched them combined last night.
That's fantastic. But more of this, please. I don't think Cincinnati is going to be that easy to break down, unfortunately, and I don't think their players are going to be standing around giving up easy shots like Charlotte did. You just hope the momentum's on their side. That's the only thing you can hope for going into Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, the Cincinnati team we got a few weeks ago is not going to be the same one.
Correct.
You're honest. That's just a good segue. Let's just get right into the game or the series coming up. All right, so FC Cincinnati. Now we have a best of 3 series. Game 1 is this Sunday, October 29th at 8 p.m. That's in Cincinnati. Game 2 at home, Saturday, November 4th at 7 p.m. If needed, Game 3 is on Saturday, November 11th at 2 p.m. Let me look at the standings because I didn't put that part in here, right? I mean, we know the first in the league. Cincinnati comes to the game with 20 wins, 9 draws, 5 losses, a plus 18 goal difference, 69 points, number 1 in the league. 2023 results, we've basically traded victories on the road. They won at Red Bull Rant 2-1 in July. We won 2-1 at their stadium in October. So in terms of what we can expect, obviously this is going to be a really tough series.
Yeah. But this is what I hope. We've dealt with being the favorite so many times in the playoffs, being the Shield winner multiple times going in the playoffs, and always being disappointed. Maybe I don't even want to be. We haven't been hopeful all year, but can we try to be the team that ruins the Supporter Shield season? Flip the script that's been done to us so many times, and maybe we could be the ones that spoils their parade of being the regular season winners and somehow advance to the next round. I don't know, but they won in Cincinnati right now against the A squad. But I mean, I just hope that these last few games is just confidence boosters. I don't know if Tom Barlow's going to score again because we just saw him score once. I don't know if that's going to happen for the rest of the year, but you get the man right in front of the box with an easy pass. Maybe he might score again.
Yeah, and as much as it may not have been all their starters, we did win 2-1 in Cincinnati. Was it this now 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we've shown we're not afraid of their stadium.
Right.
Right. So we've
never been afraid of playing in Cincinnati. So no matter what stadium they were in,
it's fucking Cincinnati. So I personally do not think, given that it's the best of 3, I don't think we have a real shot of winning the series. Right. I think the reason that they went to the best of 3 was because they're like, we want to give the higher seeds an actual chance of winning instead of a one and done.
Exactly what it is. Yes, 100%.
It's almost like this is the stuff that we should have been given years ago, but that's neither here nor there. Now, the way it works for each game is if it's tied, it goes right to penalty kicks. There's no extra time, right? So I think the best we can hope for, at least out of game 1, is maybe walking out on a penalty kick win. Or somehow pulling
or one upset win somehow, right?
Yeah,
somehow
some low scoring upset.
Insane defense, insane goalkeeping, and get out of there with a 1-0 win. That's
I honestly,
that is you can't get out of there with a draw, so you have to hope that's the way you do it here.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if we have a shot of winning this series, we have to take game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think this team against Cincinnati, and it can happen, but I don't think it will. Winning 2 straight games against Cincinnati like that in a do or die situation seems like it's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. We've seen weird shit with this team. So.
And hey, we last week, and Eddie touched upon it. What do we consider a successful season? And a successful season, I think, at this point, is they won this game, right? And like Eddie said, you're competitive against Cincinnati in their building, and maybe get a win at home.
Yeah.
As hard as it will be, because it's going to be really hard. But the good news is they will be there on a Saturday night, not midweek. So hopefully the fans are there.
Yeah. All right. So that's it, right? We're not.
Yeah, that's it.
Done with that. Okay. So next up, there is still another team in Red Bull Arena in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not having playoff games in Red Bull Arena, but Gotham FC is still in the NWSL playoffs. They went down to North Carolina and took care of the Courage with a 2-0 victory in the quarterfinals. Their next match is on Sunday, November 5th at 7 p.m., where they will travel to take on the Portland Thorns in the semifinals. Anybody's wondering why the break? Because women's soccer has an international break this week.
Yep.
So, all right. With that, it is time for the F1 update.
And box now, box for hard. Stay out.
Fuck! Why? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter where Max starts. It just doesn't matter anymore, does it? He's just going to win the race.
Even with tires or brakes to kiss the nurse.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. He wins again, and then the penalties came afterwards, so it kept Sergio in a good spot in second place. He has a 39-point lead over Lewis Hamilton right now.
Which definitely helps when Hamilton gets disqualified.
Yeah, but Checo, buddy, you got to get a top 3 finish here. Right?
If it's Mexico, he's got to be number 2.
Right. This is the race you have to do it. This is the place. You're in Mexico City. You got to finish top 3 here. Really put a stranglehold on the second place finish. This is the race to do it.
Track limits once again coming in big. I don't just understand why these drivers can't stay on the track. Apparently,
I don't know. Just trying to cheat every little single inch they can. That's all it is.
Yeah. All right. With that, it is time for the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
Non-soccer related, Jets Giants this weekend. I know you may not necessarily be looking forward to it, but
I don't. I root for the team I think has a better chance of the playoffs, and this year I think it's the Jets. Despite Zach Wilson being their quarterback, despite the Giants playing good defense the past couple of weeks, I don't think Daniel Jones is starting. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is all that great.
And your offensive line is just...
They had a 14-0 lead in the first half and did nothing in the second half of that game. The defense held up. So I think it's going to be the battle of attrition. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But I think the Jets have a better shot. They're in the division more than the Giants are right now.
Yeah, we're pending tonight's result. We're one game out of first place.
So, yeah, I
think that's it.
The Jets. And I just love watching the Jets play defense. It's so much fun.
Sorry, two games out, I think, technically. What I said is, I told you guys on the chat, I really hope the NFL allows both teams to go to throwback jerseys, because I think the 80s Giants and Jets jerseys would be a great combination to face each other.
The Giants look so good on Sunday with those uniforms. I've never liked the new ones. Bring back the word Giants on the helmet. Those colors look fantastic. The logo's great.
It pops really well.
It's so smooth. And the Jets too. I love that Jets uniform.
And the 80s logo with the wing that comes up.
So good. So much better than when they changed it in the 90s, like the Vinny Testaverde area with the little helmet Jets thing. A lot more white than green. I couldn't stand that.
Although I will admit, when they made the change to that jersey in the 90s, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. But I was also a kid in high school, so I was kind of tired at the time of the 80s jerseys. I couldn't appreciate them as much as I can now. I think the Jets are going to that next year because that old logo has been all over the place. Right, yeah. It's all over Hard Knocks. They're wearing it in the press conferences and stuff. Like Woody Johnson is pointing that shit all over Instagram or Twitter or whatever he's using.
Woody Johnson's also wearing a gold chain with his name on it.
Well, that's After the whole working for Trump as an ambassador thing, I think he's just kind of in like fuck it mode. So
I guess, yeah. Good grief.
But I think next year is the first year they'd be allowed to change the jerseys because I think they changed it in 21. Yeah, so this is year number 5, so they could change the jerseys next year if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be upset if they went back to that 80s logo and style of jerseys.
Yeah, it's just too smooth.
All right. Anything else for Dumping Ground?
No, I feel like we just recorded a podcast recently.
Yeah. Which means you don't need the last one because we haven't had a whole week.
Yep.
Or can we just call it Truman's terrible match of the day and give it to Kansas City and San Jose?
Oh, I got a way better team for this.
Oh.
Give me Big Chuck. Give me Chuck.
That's terrible.
Oh, Philadelphia Phillies, baby. God. You had 2 games to close out the NLCS at home, and you choked. God, that made me feel good. I love watching Philly teams be disappointed. I love seeing their fans be sad. They're a terrible fan base. They threw D-cell batteries at JD Drew. They're the worst. So seeing them lose at home, glorious.
Yeah, I went to college in South Jersey, and having to deal with the Philly TV stations was okay for the most part until it came to the one year they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh fucking A.
Oh god, that was
the coverage after the fact. It was just like, yeah, we lost, so what? Let's just get on with the rest of the TV schedule now. We don't need to recap this on every fucking station.
That was the time where I actually had to root for the Patriots. I couldn't believe it.
The first time they played each other.
Oh yeah. No, I mean the second time.
I'm talking the first one was the first one I'm talking about is I think 03. The 03 Super Bowl.
No, they didn't make it in 03. They went in 02. It was January 2002 was the Patriots' first one. They didn't make the playoffs the next year. So they can go to Super Bowl in 03, and then 04 or 05 were back to back.
Sorry. I'm sorry, 05. I had the wrong year in my head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back like 20 years to where I was staying on the college campus and use that as a reference point.
Yeah.
I had it wrong. All right. Anything else for the show for today? Not this week, today.
I'm going to say no.
All right. So you can visit us at patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month is all you need to support us getting some exclusive content whenever we actually decide to do it. redbullrant@gmail.com if you want to email us. Call us 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Twitter @Red Bull Rant for the show. At Dr. Stooge for myself. @The Truman for Truman. Subscribe to our show via iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we get out of here.
I'm not going to get my hopes up, and I'm not going to get excited because that's what always leads to trouble with us with this team. So I'm going to stay nice and level and pessimistic, but I would like to see a win.
All right. For Truman and myself, this has been episode 446 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, go Red Bulls.
See ya.